Alright, so it's the 31st of October 2014 and I'm just on my way home from work. And it's a little bit rainy today, but I realize I've never filmed a video riding in the rain. I've done, a few snow videos last winter, but never rain videos. But I do have a waterproof camera, so I figured I have the ability to do it. Why not give it a try? I just have to remind myself to keep wiping off the camera every minute or so that the view isn't too badly obstructed. So today, as I said, is the 31st of October, which as many people will know is a holiday called Halloween that we celebrate in Canada, where children dress up in costumes and go around trick-or-treating to people's houses and they get candy from them. So it's a little bit early now. It's just after 5 o'clock, so it's unlikely that we'll see too many trick-or-treaters, but we may see a few early ones. I try and film one of these videos about once a month, and I hadn't filmed one during October, and today's the last day of October, so today was my last chance. With it being Halloween, I thought it might be a good idea. I hadn't really anticipated that it would be raining, although it has been raining non-stop the entire day. It was, not too hard. Like, it's been raining about as hard as it's raining right now. For the majority of the day. When I biked into work this morning, it was basically exactly the same as it is right now. Around this time of the year, we get a fair bit of rain, but it kind of comes in sections. Like it's pretty rare for there to be a day where it rains the entire day, but today is the exception. The temperature right now is about 6 degrees Celsius. And it's supposed to get quite a bit colder tonight, and the rain is actually supposed to turn to snow around midnight. It's what the forecast says. So that'll be interesting, because midnight tonight is the border between October and November, so it's like as soon as it becomes November, the minute it becomes November, it starts snowing. To make you feel like you're in a different month. Alright, so I'm just gonna, on this little sidewalk here, which leads underneath of our major highway that runs through Toronto, which is called the 401. So they have this nice pedestrian slash cycling route which you can take to safely get underneath. So I'm going to be taking pretty much the standard route that I normally take for getting to and from work, which I have shown in other videos before, but it's always a little bit different. There's always, construction changes that are happening, roads under construction, new buildings that are built, old buildings that are torn down. It's always changing. And of course the weather's always a little bit different. You'll notice right now most of the leaves have changed color. There's very few green leaves left on trees, and many of them that are left, or many of them aren't even left. Many trees have lost most of their leaves. Thank you. Alright. Yeah, I don't think I've actually filmed a riding home video showing my normal route in quite a long time. I know I shot one in the middle of the summer, the beginning of the summer, where I went through Earl Bales Park, which is a totally different route. So the place where I start, where my workplace is called, or it's an area called, well, it's North York Center is I guess what it's called, but it's the intersection of Yonge Street and Sheppard Avenue. And from there I ride south to the area where I live, which is called Yonge and Eglinton, which is also the intersection. And the route that I take is slightly under 8 kilometers. I just realized I had been thinking I might go a little bit different way, but I took a wrong turn. Not a wrong turn, just a different turn. The route that I'm showing right now is my normal way of going. I just been thinking of taking a slightly different way. So a few weeks ago I released my video my 2 videos about bicycling in the winter. The first one was about setting up a bike for riding in the winter, you know, talking about different kinds of tires and brakes and you know, maintenance things to keep an eye on when you're riding in harsh conditions, as well as another video which was a guide to winter clothing to wear specifically for cycling. And I actually shot both of those videos last winter, in February and March. Alright, I'm going to take a left here because normally I would just go straight through up ahead and wait for a clearing. But I've noticed that usually on days when it's rainy, it seems to change the traffic pattern quite a bit, and it takes quite a long time to be able to get through. Notice that large pumpkin on our right, inflated with air. There's a black cat that's kind of similar. Actually, quite a lot of Halloween decorations in this neighborhood like that. The standard decoration that everyone does is just a regular pumpkin, one that actually grew in the ground, and they carve it out and put a candle inside, and they carve a face into the front of it. So I don't know if we'll see any of those out yet. Actually, since it's a special day, why don't I take a little bit of a detour off this road here so I can show you some other Halloween decorations. Just a little bit up this way. So this road here is actually the one that I had planned on taking, and I had planned on going past this house, which is just up here on the left. So you can see they've got a big dragon in the distance and some kind of a castle and some ghosts. Lots of inflatable things. A very large white ghost as well there. Hopefully you can see that from the wet camera lens. So the reason that I was mentioning my my winter cycling videos is because ever since I spent the time finishing those videos and getting them on YouTube, I've been thinking quite a bit about you know, different clothing to wear and what I'm choosing on certain days. And today kind of falls into a different category than anything that I talked about in that video. I didn't really talk about what to wear during rainy conditions, because the video was kind of more focused on temperature as opposed to, you know, precipitation. And I always find it really hard knowing how to dress on these kind of days. And I'm not sure I've totally mastered that part of it. I know during the summer, if it's really, you know, it's a warm day, it's, you know, 18, 19 Celsius, something like that, and it's raining, and I wear any kind of a rain jacket, then I just get, you know, completely sweaty on the inside, and kind of defeats the purpose if you're going to get wet anyways if you wear a rain jacket. So I usually, in those climates, on those kind of days, I don't really wear any kind of rain jacket. I figure it's warm enough you can get wet, and of course I just change when I get to where I'm going. But when it's a little bit colder, you can afford to wear rain gear. So right today I'm wearing you know, a non-breathable waterproof jacket. It's actually an old raincoat that I've had for many years, and you know, it's doing a good job of keeping the rain off me and giving me a little bit of heat builds up under there, because it doesn't breathe, not just enough heat to keep me warm. And on my legs I'm wearing exactly the same kind of thing. It's a pair of you know, water resistant pants. All right. So now I'm kind of back on track of where I normally would be. As I said, normally I would just go straight through that intersection, or I mean, of course I'd wait for the traffic to be clear, but I would go straight as opposed to taking that detour around to the traffic light. We got lots of water on the lens there, so I'll dry that off if I can find my... Got to be careful with what I use to wipe off the camera, because I don't want to scratch my plastic face there, because the last one that I had to replace because it got cracked, and it was really hard to find a replacement. Well, see that guy regularly going in the opposite direction of me. Alright, so here we're going to come down this really big hill, and I'm going to go kind of easy because it's wet and slippery, and I don't want to wipe out at the stop sign, which is coming up. And you probably can't see anything right now. And I don't have a lot of good stopping power with wet rims. And I'll wipe off the camera as soon as I get to the bottom of this hill. I just realized I didn't have my my lights turned on my bike, and I think it's just about dark enough to qualify for needing those, so I have just turned those on. With the rear bike light that I have on this bike is one that I custom made, and I've actually made videos showing that before. But a really nice feature that I put into that was that there's a switch for it, which is accessible, that I can reach right from my seat. So if I'm riding and I realize, hey, I forgot to turn on my lights, I can do it right from my seat here, and I don't have to, you know, stop and go back there and turn the switch on. And the one on the front, of course, is easy because it's right at the front, right where my hands already are. Alright, so now we're going to climb up the big hill that we just came down to get to the other side of the Hogs Hollow Valley through this fancy neighborhood. Lots of rain flowing down the road here. So I've been working on a little project lately for the past few weeks, and it's been a lot of fun working on it. I mentioned that the custom rear light that I have on the bike that I'm riding right now, well, I made that back in the winter of 2013, and I've really loved it. Like, I find that it works so well, and it's so convenient, and it uses AA batteries, which are, you know, they last a long time, and they're much cheaper than AAA batteries. I've always really liked the light that I made, and the problem is, though, I have two bikes that I ride. Specifically during the winter, I ride my other bike pretty much just as much as I ride this bike. Well, the problem is I only have one of those custom lights. So I've been working on building a replica of it for my other bike. So that should be done pretty soon. Hopefully, at least. And of course, I've been filming the process of working on that light. It's going to be a bit of a different video than other building videos that I've made in the past. You know, at the beginning of the video, I kind of introduce the project and talk about, you know, what I'm doing. Where that from there on, it's kind of a wordless workshop. There's going to be pretty much no talking. It's just going to be me working away and doing little things, and you can kind of just watch and follow along what's happening and figure stuff out on your own. I kind of just wanted to try a little something different, because I've noticed that a lot of my videos, I talk a lot, and I spend a lot of time in front of the camera talking and trying to figure out what I want to say. So I'm going to try and contrast that by doing one where I hardly talk at all. The one part of that project which is kind of holding me back right now at the moment is the flashing circuit. I like to have my lights so that they're flashing constantly, just a constant on, off, on, off, on, off kind of a pattern. But I also like to have it so that I have a toggle on-off switch for it, that I can simply just turn it on or turn it off, and you don't have to press a button a whole bunch of times to get through various different flashing patterns. So I was able to achieve that on my on the light that I have on this bike right here, just out of luck of having a circuit board that was for a bike light, and all you had to do was just turn it, all you had to do was give it power, and it started flashing. But unfortunately, I don't have another one of those circuit boards, and all the other bike lights that I've ever seen, you give them power and you have to press on the momentary switch for them to actually turn on or do anything, really. So I'm still figuring that one out. I've ordered a few things that they might work, but we'll have to wait and see when they arrive. So notice all of the leaves down on the ground here, as well as the kids in costumes. They're saying happy birthday. I think they mean happy Halloween. So we're just approaching, I'm about to turn onto a street called Sheppard, which is a great residential north-south street that I use pretty much every day for getting further south. And I use it in the morning as well, going north. The only unfortunate thing is that there's a four-way stop at just about every single intersection, so you're always having to slow down and start when you're riding. I wonder if we'll see any more trick-or-treaters. There's some more Halloween decorations on our right there. I'll try and see if I can spot any jack-o'-lanterns in people's windows. Jack-o'-lantern is a term that's used for a pumpkin which has been carved. Actually, that lady there on the left, I don't know if the camera caught it, but she was carrying a jack-o'-lantern in her hands. There's some more decorations over here. I'm just going off the road a little bit to show that. They had a little cemetery in their yard. Some people get really excited about Halloween. The retailers certainly do. So we're just coming up to Lawrence Avenue here. Sheppard crosses Lawrence with this traffic light, and then it changes names and becomes Duplex Avenue, which continues on. It's a similar kind of a street, although right now it's under construction. They're replacing or refurbishing the water mains on it, and they have been doing that for many months now, since the beginning of the summer. Hopefully they'll be finished soon. They don't seem to work on it every day. It seems like, or maybe they work on it every day, but they go home early a lot, because, you know, probably I'd say maybe about 30% of the time I see trucks here working after, you know, on my way home from work, or I see them in the morning. The rest of the time it looks just how it looks right now. It's, you know, it's just an abandoned construction site. But unfortunately it means that the southbound lane is actually closed. There's quite a few people that drive on the wrong side of the road, just, you know, to go a few blocks on the street here, but it is technically closed. I mostly ride on the sidewalk for these sections here, which is technically illegal too, but if you're careful and you go slow and you're watching out, it's still pretty safe to do. Another cyclist coming the other direction on the other road. You do see quite a few cyclists on Duplex and on Jedburgh. During commuting hours, it's a pretty popular route. I noticed that, I noticed significantly more bikes this summer than I did last summer. And I'm not sure if that has to do with, the construction that's going on, because it does make it a quieter street and maybe a little bit more bike friendly, but I personally don't find it much more bike friendly with, only having one lane open. But it's also quite likely that, more people have just started incorporating cycling into their daily lives than last year. Cycling is on the rise everywhere in our city, which is pretty exciting. I'm certainly excited about it as a cycling advocate. Alright, now the road's back open again, so I can get back on the road and ride the rest of the way. So we're getting pretty close to home now. I don't have my GPS with me this time. In many of my other commuting and cycling videos, I project my heart rate as well as my speed, instantaneous speed on the screen in the video, so you can see how fast I'm going, but I haven't done that in the last few of these videos that I've made, just kind of because I'm lazy, I guess. I just find, it's a fairly manual process to be able to, take the speeds from the one piece of software and get them into the other piece. And I don't really feel that it really tells you that much of a story that you can't already tell from seeing. But I always have the option of doing it again in the future. Lots of leaves. And you got to be careful because leaves can be pretty slippery if you're trying to stop in them with your bike, or if you're going around a corner and you're riding on a big pile of leaves. One of those times where everyone gets to the four-way stop at the same time and no one knows who to go first. Alright, so I'm just going to make a left turn here. We're going to be going east for a short block, and then we're back at Yonge Street. And I just got to cross Yonge Street, and then I'm pretty much home. And the rain continues. There's a jack-o'-lantern over there. You can see in that porch there. Didn't see any more kids with costumes, but if I came out here in about an hour's time, I'm sure I'd see lots more. It's kind of too bad that it's raining and the kids are going to get all wet. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed joining me in my ride home from work on this rainy Halloween evening. I make these videos primarily to help inspire people to consider using bicycles as a more primary mode of transportation. And I have to say that riding in the rain is probably my least favorite condition, but it is, still totally possible. If you're wearing the right gear, it's really not that uncomfortable, and I really haven't been that uncomfortable today, as you have seen and heard. Please leave a comment and let me know what you thought, and thanks for watching.